Ananda Gadadhara Srivasade Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We're going to continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, where we are. Oh, well, not this one, sorry. Canto 3, chapter 23, text 20. Amsa paravata vrates tatra tatra nikujitam kriti manyamane swan adhiruhya. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Here and there in that palace were multitudes of live swans and pigeons, as well as artificial swans and pigeons, so lifelike that the real swans rose above them again and again, thinking them live birds like themselves. Thus the palace vibrated with the sounds of these birds. So there's also swans and pigeons in this nice aerial mansion. Viharasthana Vishrama Samvesha Pran Ganajire Yathopajo Sam Rachiter Vishmapanam Ivatmanaha. The castle had pleasure grounds, resting chambers, bedrooms, and inner and outer yards designed with an eye to comfort. All this caused astonishment to the sage himself. Kardama Muni, being a saintly person, was living in a humble hermitage. But when he saw the palace constructed by his yogic powers, which was full of resting rooms, rooms for sex enjoyment, and inner and outer yards, he himself was astonished. That is the way of a God-gifted person. A devotee like Kardama Muni exhibited such opulence by his yogic power at the request of his wife. But when the opulence was produced, he himself could not understand how such manifestations could be possible. When a yogi's power is exhibited, the yogi himself is sometimes astonished. So Kardama Muni, although he's created this with his yogic power, he's also amazed at the powers that he has, given to him by Krishna. No, he's not feeling proud. Oh yes, see, I did it. So that's the point to understand here. Because if he was like proud, he would say, see, I have so much power. So idrigraham tat pashyantim nati pritena chetasa sarva bhuta shaya bhigya pravochat kardama swayam. When he saw Devahuti looking at the gigantic opulent palace with a displeased heart, Kardama Muni could understand her feelings because he could study the heart of anyone. Thus, he personally addressed his wife as follows. Devahuti had spent a long time in the hermitage, not taking much care of her body. She was covered with dirt and her clothing was not very nice. Kardama Muni was surprised that he could produce such a palace. And similarly, his wife, Devahuti, was also astonished. How could she live in that opulent palace? Kardama Muni could understand her astonishment, and thus he spoke as follows. Nimajyasmin hridebhiru vimanam idam aruha idam shukla kritam tirtham ashisham yapakam nirnam. My dear Devahuti, you look very much afraid. First, bathe in Lake Bindu Sarovar, created by Lord Vishnu himself, which can grant all the desires of a human being, and then mount this airplane. It is still the system to go to places of pilgrimage and take a bath in the water there. In Vrindavan, the people take baths in the river Yamuna. In the other places, such as Prayag, they take baths in the river Ganges. The words Tirtham, Ashisham, Yapakam refer to the fulfillment of desires by bathing in a place of pilgrimage. Kardama Muni advised his good wife to bathe in Lake Bindu Sarovar so that she could revive the former beauty and luster of her body. So taking bath in the place of pilgrimage, even when we go to Mayapur, then the Ganges is there. So the devotees go to the Ganges and take bath over there, the Ganga. And but always More important than only just going to take a bath to the place of pilgrimage is to hear from the devotees who are there. And what to hear from them? Hari Katha, Krishna Katha, so that it can cut our tight knot of ignorance and fill our hearts with the shining lamp of knowledge. So reading on. Satad bhartuhu samadaya vacha kuval likshana sarajam bhibrati vaso veni bhutam shamurdhajan. The lotus-eyed Devahuti accepted the order of her husband because of her dirty dress and the locks of matted hair on her head. She did not look very attractive. It appears that Devahuti's hair had remained uncombed for many years and had become complicated in tangles. In other words, she neglected her bodily dress and comforts to engage in the service of her husband. So one thing that comes to my mind is Kardama Muni. He is not being proud that, see, this is my creation, because of my yogic power, I could create such a thing. He's not feeling proud of it. He's in fact astonished that the Lord has given him this, that he was able to do it by the mercy of the Lord. How would we react when we are able to create something nice? What's our thought process?
We take the credit.
Huh?
We take the credit. We take the credit. Let's see how intelligent I am. I can do this.
Yeah, I have so much creative power. I have such good ideas. Look, I made this and it's so great.
When you invent something, like in school we used to do. It used to be like,
yeah, but even still, when we make something wonderful, first we take the credit. Maybe later on we might remember Krishna down somewhere there. That is if also, if even. If
we cook something, then we take the credit. Oh, see, dishes come on next. Right?
Yeah. So that's what I was, now when I'm reading, I was like, oh wow, Kardama Muni, really nice, humble devotee, not taking credit for himself. He's able to create such a wonderful thing, and yet he's like, oh wow, where did it come from? So we can learn these pastimes are for us also to learn these points from the lives of the devotees. Angam cha malapang kena sanchanam Shabalastanam Avishesha Sarvastaya Sarashiva Jalashayam. Her body was coated with a thick layer of dirt and her breasts were discolored. She dove, however, into the lake, which contained the sacred waters of the river Saraswati. Shanta Sarasi Veshmastha Shatani Dasha Kanyaka Sarva Kishora Bayaso Dadarshotpala Gandayaha. In a house inside the lake, she saw 1,000 girls, all in the prime of youth and fragrant like lotuses. So Devahuti also, with a simple, sincere heart, she trusted her husband. She was serving him so nicely, because he was engaged in devotional service, not caring for herself. So this is also sincerity, which we can learn, and then now she's getting her heart fulfilled desire, what she wants, because of her sincerity of the heart. Not with duplicity, she served with sincerity. So that what comes to my mind, If we have a sincere heart, then our heart's desires will be fulfilled. Krishna sees that. Krishna is attracted to that. But we have our own private agenda, Private agenda means our duplicitous nature. And Krishna wants us to give that up, our duplicity. Kutinati. So tam drishva sahasothaya prochu pranjalaya striyaha vayam karma karistubhyam shadina karavamakim. Seeing her, the damsel suddenly rose and said with folded hands, "We are your maidservants. Tell us what we can do for you." While Devahuti was thinking of what to do in that great palace in her dirty clothes, there were at once, by the yogic powers of Kardama Muni, 1,000 maidservants prepared to serve her. They appeared before Devahuti within the water and presented themselves as her maidservants, simply awaiting her orders. Snanena tam maharhena snapayitva manashvinim dukule nirmale nutne dadur asye chamanadaha. The girls, being very respectful to Devahuti, brought her forth, and after bathing her with valuable oils and ointments, they gave her fine, new spotless cloth to cover her body. Now we can understand this narration is being spoken by Sutta Goswami, who is speaking to the
We can't hear you.
Hare Krishna, you're not able to hear me? Hare Krishna?
We can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna. So, sorry about that, Hare Krishna. So this narration is being spoken by the sages of Naimisharanya. The sages, great yogis are hearing this thing. Sutta Goswami is speaking this. He's saying he heard it from Sukadev Goswami, who spoke to Parikshit Maharaj. And Sukadev Goswami is speaking the narration between Vidura and Maitreya. So just see the caliber of the people who are speaking these narrations. These are great sages, great yogis, they have so much knowledge, so much yogic powers, and they are speaking such things. So imagine now they are speaking, oh, she's so dirty and she's taking a bath, and then there are oils, and so they're going into so much detail. So we can try to understand, what is it? Is it just like an ordinary novel that we hear? No, each and every word of Bhagavatam is there conscientiously to clean our hearts, to remove the dirt in our hearts. It's not like a mundane fiction novel that we read, Each and every word, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, even one word of Bhagavatam is enough to purify us. So we might say, oh, what's happening? What's happening here? But this is all to clear the dirt, to wash the dirt from our hearts, our consciousness. So text 29, Bhushanani Paradhyani Variyam Sidhyu Manticha Anam Sarva Gunopetam Panam Chevam Ritasavam. They then decorated her with very excellent and valuable jewels, which shone brightly. Next, they offered her food containing all good qualities and a sweet, inebriating drink called Asavam. Asavam is an Ayurvedic medical preparation. It is not a liquor. It is especially made from drugs and is meant to improve metabolism for the healthy condition of the body. Seems interesting. Asavam. I don't know nowadays how many are actually qualified in this art of Ayurveda, but anyway, there is this thing, Asavam, to make healthy condition of the body. And also, they are also appreciating the like Kardama Muni was able to provide all this, It's like appreciation that he was able to do all these things. Wow. Not being envious that out of nothing he could create such a big palace and so many riches, So that's kind of like a glorification of the devotee of the Lord also.
So how did the maid servants come instead them?
He brought them, no? Kardama Muni.
He brought them.
Yeah. He's a great yogi. He has this mystic powers. He sat in meditation for 10,000 years, right? So he got these mystic siddhis. He has that capability of doing it. Although he's himself surprised, oh, wow, I have this capability by the mercy of the Lord. He's not being proud of them, but he has that. A yogi can even make a planet. Some of the yogis have so much Shakti that they can make a planet also. So, but what happens is some yogis, they get distracted. Oh, I have become so powerful now. Now I have I have this creative power. And some of them get again into that false ego part, the pride part. But some, okay, they have the yogic power. I've received it by the mercy of the Lord. I want to continue with my yoga process till I realize the Supreme Lord, till I realize the Paramatma, and they continue in their devotional service. So again, it depends on our desire, each of our desires. But yeah, some yogis, they do have, even like Saubhari Muni, right? Yeah, he had yogic powers. There are many of yogis. Or Durvasa Muni, he could create a demon from his hair, So yeah. So atadarshe swam atmanam sarvinam virajambaram virajam krita swastyayanam kanyabir bahumanitam. Then in a mirror, she beheld her own reflection. Her body was completely free from all dirt, and she was adorned with a garland, dressed in unsullied robes and decorated with auspicious marks of tilak. She was served very respectfully by the maids. So she herself is like, oh wow, what happened, I had become so skinny and my body had become so unattractive. Now again, I've become so beautiful. Snatam krita shira snanam sarva Marana bhushitam nishka grivam valahinam kujat kanchana nupuram. Her entire body, including her head, was completely bathed. And she was decorated all over with ornaments. She wore a special necklace with a locket. There were bangles on her wrists and tinkling anklets of gold about her ankles. So we can see how these great sages, we are talking about great sages who were sitting there at Naimisharanya. They did austerities for 1,000 years because for what? Because they knew Kali Yuga is coming. So for our benefit, we are Kali Yuga people. They knew that what's the quality of the people going to be in Kali Yuga. So for our benefit, they were doing this yagyas for 1,000 years. And here Sutta Goswami is speaking the Bhagavatam to them. And he's describing this. He's a great pure devotee. He's a renunciate. He's in the renounced order of life. Sannyasi, but he's speaking all this, decorated with ornaments, completely bathed, necklace, because we can understand they're completely free from lust. He's a pure devotee. And he's a pure devotee, So when we look at things, because our hearts are filled with lust, we are not able to understand these things. But the more we hear, the lust will be converted into love. Does that make sense? Lust means I want to enjoy for myself. Love
So
is
lust converted to
Huh?
lust will be converted to upasana.
Asana.
Upasana means worship, love.
Very good. Yeah. Very good. Yes. The word Krita Shira Snanam appears here according to the Smriti Shastra's directions for daily duties. Ladies are allowed to bathe daily up to the neck. The hair on the head does not necessarily have to be washed daily because the mass of wet hair may cause a cold. So what is Prabhupada saying? The Bhagavatam is saying women, no need for women to wash their hair daily. So Bhagavatam is also teaching how we can avoid cold. For ladies, therefore, taking a bath up to the neck is ordinarily prescribed, and they take a full bath only on certain occasions. On this occasion, Devahuti took a full bath and washed her hair very nicely. When a lady takes an ordinary bath, it's called Malasnan. And when she takes a full bath, including the head, is called Shirasnan. At this time, she needs sufficient oil to smear on her head. That is the direction of the commentators of the Smriti Shastra. Smriti Shastra is saying that. Practical tips for us. Srinyor adyastaya kanchya kanchanya bahuratnaya harena cha mahar hena rucha kena cha bhushitam. About her hips, she wore a girdle of gold set with numerous jewels, and she was further adorned with a precious pearl necklace and auspicious substances. Auspicious substances include saffron, kumkum, and sandalwood pulp. Before taking a bath, there are other auspicious substances, such as turmeric mixed with mustard seed oil, which are smeared all over the body. All kinds of auspicious substances were used to bathe Devahuti from top to toe. I know now, like before the marriage, the girl is the bride. The bride is given, right, this turmeric bath. Auspicious substances are smeared over the body. So, yeah, that comes to my mind. And then reading on, Sudata Subruva Slakshna Snigdha Angena Chakshusha Padmakosha Sprida Niler Alakescha Lasan Mukham. Her countenance shone with beautiful teeth and charming eyebrows. Her eyes, distinguished by lovely moist corners, defeated the beauty of lotus buds. Her face was surrounded by dark, curling tresses. According to Vedic literature, white teeth are very much appreciated. Devahuti's white teeth increased the beauty of her face, and it made it look like a lotus flower. When a face looks very attractive, the eyes are generally compared to lotus petals, and the face to a lotus flower. So, sorry, I thought there was something. Anyway. Text 34, Yada Sansmara Rishabham Rishinam Daitam Patim Tatra Chaste Sahastribir Yatraste Sa Prajapatihi. When she thought of a great husband, the best of the sages, Kardama Muni, who was very dear to her, she, along with all the maidservants, at once appeared where he was. So it appears from this verse that in the beginning, Devahuti thought herself to be dirty and dressed in very niggardly way. When her husband asked her to enter the lake, she saw the maidservants and they took care of her. Everything was done within the water. And as soon as she thought of her beloved husband, Kardama, she was brought before him without delay. These are some of the powers attained by perfect yogis. They can immediately execute anything they desire. So by his yogic power. This is the reason, because Vishwamitra, he was a king, right? And then he saw, oh, Vashishta Muni, he is more powerful than me. He's a sage and he's more powerful. I'm a king. I'm supposed to be the most powerful. But here is a sage, a yogi, and yogi is more powerful than me. I want to become a yogi also. Then he became a yogi, Vishwamitra. So, Bhartu Purastad Atmanam Stri Sahasravritam Tadanisham Yat Tad Yoga Gatim Samshayam Pratyapadyata. She was amazed to find herself surrounded by 1,000 maids in the presence of her husband and to witness his yogic power. Devahuti saw everything miraculously done. Yet, when brought before her husband, she could understand that it was all due to his great yogic mystic power. She understood that nothing was impossible for a yogi like Kardama Muni. So a great yogi, he can create big palace, so much jewelry for her, 1,000 maidservants, so much. This is his yogic power. So even yogis have their different levels, Some yogi will have a little power, some yogis have more powers. Depends on what level of yogi they are at. Yoga they are at. Any comments? Anything to add?
Like how much power the yogis can get. How much power they can get, the siddhis.
Yeah. Yeah. So imagine if a human being can do this, how great is Krishna's power, no? These mystic siddhis, we get so attracted, right? By these mystic siddhis. So then so much power. And what about Krishna then?
Yeah.
how he's creating so many planets and making them float in space. All the gold, jewels, everything is made by him. Everything is coming from him.
I think there are people who can believe the yogic power. They're ready to believe the yogic power, but then they're not ready to accept the Krishna powers.
Mm-hmm.
There are those kind of people. They say कि हाँ मतलब हमें ये दिख रहा है कि ये ऐसा कर रहे हैं, ठीक है, but gravity तो भाई अपने आप ही है ना, वो तो सब अपने आप ही चल रहा है. वो तो Big Bang
you know
से
what
ही.
happens? Sorry, you finish. Yeah.
No, but that's what I'm just trying to say, that there are people that who have this kind of feeling also.
And I feel that when they see such things that the yogi has, the sage has, whatever, and they start believing in him as to be God. So that is what, like, it should not be that way, right?
Yeah,
Though he may have the yogi power.
Yeah, it's
right?
true. Yes.
And they start saying, okay, he's Bhagwan.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, that they will
Yeah.
believe that he's God, but they don't want to believe that God is more powerful and he's there.
Yes, it's true.
No,
It's
they
true.
start saying, yeah, he's Krishna.
Yeah, so
Right?
that's the problem.
So they said, should we get attracted to all this? No, right?
No, we shouldn't. You know
Definitely.
why? Because then if we get attracted to the yogi, then we are going to follow the yogi, right? Like, see, Krishna says, whatever you worship, whoever you worship, you're going to go with them. Your next destination is going to be with them, right? He says in Bhagavad Gita, you worship the demigods, you'll go to the demigods. You worship the pitras, you'll go to the pitra planet. You worship ghosts and pishachas, you will go there. You worship me, you will come to me. So whoever we worship, now if we worship a yogi, then whatever is the next destination of the yogi, we are going to go there. And if the yogi is not a devotee of the Lord, then he's probably not going to go back to the spiritual world, right? He will still continue to remain in the material world. So then if we are worshiping the yogi and he's still in the material world, then we will continue to remain in the material world. Yeah. So worship is for Krishna. Worship is for Krishna. Why? Because only Krishna is the only worshipable person. He's the only worshipable, greatest person. So, and then why it happens? Because as we were saying the other day, it's because many people are not willing to take the trouble to understand about spirituality. Like, we do a lot of research when we are wanting to buy something, right? Say a diamond, we'll do really a lot of research. We are going to check with so many people, try to understand why, so that we don't get cheated. But in the matter of spirituality, sometimes we don't do a lot of research. We don't, and then we just accept. So that is one of the reasons. One of the reasons is that we could be really innocent and we really don't know what's happening. But if we have the sincere desire in our heart, Krishna, who's in our heart, will make the arrangement for us to understand the truth. He will make the arrangement. Then also another desire is that if I don't want to accept the truth as the truth is, if I don't want to understand the truth, I don't want to understand God as he is, but I want to understand God as he should be, then Krishna lets us believe that, because he says, right, whatever is our faith, he makes that faith stronger. He says that. So a lot depends on our desire then.
True.
You know, so then what is my desire? And then, of course, sometimes we might be really innocent, but then we need to educate ourselves, thinking that, oh, if I'm doing so much research for some ordinary thing, or for example, buying a car, you know, now you do so much in research on the internet at one, you're going to go to different websites, different countries, so much research to buy one small thing.
To see the reviews and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, see the review, so much we do research, then why for spirituality, which is the most important, should I not take the trouble to do the research?
Mhm.
And then sometimes we think, oh, it's because my group of people that I'm very comfortable with, they are following certain things, so I should follow it, otherwise I will become like a out of the group kind of a person. So then if we have these different kinds of fears, so then again it depends that what is my desire, that do I need to do something because I want to belong to a certain what we say, yeah, group probably, or some certain tradition, or it's been coming on in my family for tradition for generations, and so I'm not even going to question it, because it gives me that pride that yes, I'm following my family tradition. I don't need to question it or try to understand it, rather. So where am I at, basically? Where am I at? A lot depends on that. And then, of course, also depends if what happens is when somebody comes in touch with a devotee, then we are getting the mercy of the devotee, and then they, because of their mercy, then we might start getting, then we start asking these questions, or we start trying to look further into it. So maybe they've not yet gotten the mercy of a devotee, So there could be so many different reasons. Yeah. So, yeah. And also then makes me feel, yeah, like, at least we are trying to understand here, makes me feel grateful that, okay, here we are at least trying to understand, trying to understand. And then maybe if somebody is willing to hear, we can explain, like, share this with them also, if someone's willing to listen. Yeah,
Yeah, there's a reading the scriptures, I think it's really important, right?
yes,
It's where you
yeah.
get evidence, like, it's there.
Yes, because see, even for ordinary knowledge, we study, right? We go to
Study.
school, we study, we go undergraduate. Then somebody wants to do further, get more specialized in it, they'll do graduate. Want to do further research into it, they'll do thesis, PhD. So similarly, spirituality is also like that. We are learning the knowledge, then, then we need to do this further research, because after all, it is who we are. So, yeah.
Krishna, I have to leave now.
I'm sorry.
I have to leave now.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining in and listening in and all your participation. Hare Krishna, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shilpa Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare